think I am. Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, mums and dads, boys and girls, boat racers, and sometimes wannabes. Welcome here to the beautiful banks of Lake Glenmaggie, the fullest lake in Victoria right now, and aren't we glad to see it. This is round one of the Victorian APPA Powerboat Racing Series down here in the beautiful Glenmaggie District Boat Club. So we want to thank Glenmaggie District Boat Club for hosting this magnificent event. They turned the sun on. Mick Taranto's got out of his sick bed just for this occasion. A little bit of wind out there, and that is perfect conditions for powerboat racing, I can tell you. That little bit of wind chop's going to make it fast and loose, Jimmy Bobby. And if you join us down here in the sunshine, we've got an unbelievable lineup. This is race one of the season. Normally, most of us are still a bit tired, wiping the sleep from our eyes. But I tell you, walking around the pitch this morning, there's a very, very nice selection of powerboats here on display. We've got some brand new drivers, and that always makes things pretty exciting as the nerves mount up. We've got new kids, we've got new adults, we've got a blown boat, we've got it all happening. We've got a Grand Prix hydroplane, you name it, it's all happening here at the Glenmaggie District Boat Club this afternoon. This event is known as the Tri-Nations. It's a combination of with their little outboards are here this weekend as well. So this is a joint venture, as I said, from all three clubs pulling together. Great for the APVA and great for you if you're here on the bank. Good to see you down here this morning. Sun's shining, the birds are singing. You'll get sick of me for the day, but my name's Andrew Murphy and I'm here to tell lies about everybody all day. So if you don't know the truth, you just make it up. But while you're all here, you'll notice up the back at the Glenmaggie Boat Club, there is a full cafe in operation. So if you head up towards the top, you'll see there's just up near the portable toilets up behind you if you're looking at the lake. There's an access door there, and you can get a whole range of snacks, cold drinks, hot drinks, the best coffee in town, a whole lot of hot food rolling all day. So get up there and support the club. Now the pit area is a controlled area, ladies and gents, so unfortunately as a visitor we can't allow you access to the pits. Obviously, there's a lot of vehicles moving, a lot of stuff going on out here, but hey, a little bit later on in the day, once the racing's finished, we'll open those gates up and you can come and have a good look up close and personal with all of these magnificent race boats on display. We've got some of the best, the biggest, the fastest boats anywhere in Australia coming out to put on a bit of a show for you this morning, so or for the remainder of the day. So you're in for some great racing. The first thing we're going to see out on the water, the course marshals just checking the setup and the layout of the course. Beautiful big course here at Glenmaggie. So we've got about a 750 metre straight. Very, very nice into that little headwind running out of the east. So that's really perfect conditions for most of the boats out here today. Big long left-hander into turn one. So right down the far end, the big orange buoy is the leading buoy. So the boats will pass to the right of that. Go around the little red ball floater in the middle of the course and then exit via the yellow buoy to the outside of the yellow buoy. And then they'll pour on the power down the back straight. You're going to see speeds out there today in excess of 130 miles per hour, ladies and gents. So over 200 Ks out there, some of these big bad growlers are going to be getting up to. Our biggest class today is a heat of 9 boats. 9 boats side to side. And if you have a look out in front of the tower here, you will see the black and white checkered buoy. Try and picture 9 boats between you and that buoy right now, and I can tell you they're going to be gunnel to gunnel out there in the 95 mile an hour category. So the classes we've got racing this morning, today, is the Formula Future. Now these are 15 horsepower outboards, the future champions. I think it's 9 juniors racing this weekend. These little 15 horsepower is capable of speeds up to 50 miles per hour, 80 Ks. 80 Ks, these juniors are out there. They're going to be the first thing out there. We've got a couple of brand new drivers. So the first thing you're going to see, and it's going to happen very shortly, is going to be some initiation runs for these guys. They're going to head out and get their chance to actually, they'll do a lap of the course on their own, and then you're going to see them go out with one other lead boat, and they're going to get an idea of what it's like to be next to a boat in the water. All right, so then the Formula Futures, once we've had those first initiation races, we're going to get into mate, the big end of field, the unlimited displacement. The unlimited category, I should say, because they're not all displacement boats. And we have one of the best in the business, the boat owned by Lou and Dean Gleeson. It's called the Fly. You can see it sitting over there right next to the pit lane. Get up and have a close look at this thing. You're going to hear it fire up pretty shortly, and it will shake the possums from the trees. This is a blown alcohol boat, supercharged alcohol, and this thing has probably in excess, I don't know, 1,000 horsepower easily. Dean's pretty cool on that. He won't tell me what it is, but that thing, when you see it out on the water, it will certainly wake things up. Another boat that we're going to see out there in this category is Mark Healy in Helium, the beautiful classic pink and white hydroplane, running the big banger as well. This thing is a beauty to watch on the water. The big Mark gets out there and pedals it for all it's worth. So he's going to be out there a little bit down on horsepower, though it won't stop him giving it a red hot go. Hey, another boat we're very, very excited to see. Haven't seen it on the water for a long time. They are local legends around here. I speak, of course, of the Penningtons, and this boat will be driven today by Mr. Darren Pennington. The boat is called the Wasp. It is a Grand Prix hydroplane. This category of boat is the fastest category of powerboat racing in Australia. These Grand Prix hydroplanes, 150, 160, hey, let's even call it, maybe not on this course, but up to 180 miles an hour. And these things will throw a rooster tail 200-300 feet in the air. So you are in for an absolute show. The hydroplane's very different to the displacements. They would like to run a big, wide, looping course, whereas the displacement's a bit more short, sharp, and to the point. Going to be some great racing. And a little bit unexpected, didn't know that he was coming, but I have been told up here in the commentary box that the big, bad Johnny Backer has arrived in pit lane with the boat called Rival. So I'm yet to see Big JB, but I believe that Rival is here with us, which is another blown alcohol displacement. An absolute thundering machine, but I'm sure if he's here, he'll get out there. Had a few dramas. This boat's still in that setup phase. Unbelievable horsepower out of this thing, but he's not too far away from getting this thing absolutely nailed. So great to see the Unlimited boys here. Then we're going to jump into the first of our handicap races for the juniors for the day. And we've got a field of 5 out of that first heat, followed up with the second of our junior heat. So we've got that many kids racing, we've had to split them up into 2. And then we're going to take a step into the first of our speed class brackets. The 95 mile an hour, and count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 boats in that race. So that's going to be one to watch, ladies and gents. So a couple of rules of the road. You can see this beautiful little concrete wall down here in front of the spectator area. That is the limit for you people down there on the bank. So if you've got your kids with you, I know it's a beautiful day, they'll want to be playing in the water, but while racing is underway, you've got to have them back. Sitting on that concrete wall is fine, but no further past it. And you'll have plenty of your young drivers milling around down the front as well, so make sure you say good day to them. These kids love telling you all about their boats. And very shortly we're going to release the first of our juniors on the siding lap. The boat is orange. He's a good-looking rooster himself. It's called Voodoo, and it's Mr. Max Second. This is his first weekend of powerboat racing. So he's got to do his initiation early this morning. The kids were given a briefing. They had to go out in the course boat and do a couple of laps to get a look at this course. They will be running on a shortened course. So you can see the 2 red round boys just to the right-hand side of the checkered boy. That is the turn boys for the juniors. So they'll go down into turn 1 all the way back and then back around. And these little boats, stock standard 15 horsepower, but they produce nearly 50 miles an hour. Have a look who's just joined us in the crowd. The owners of Leisure Sports Marine. Down there in beautiful Dramana, Suzuki's best looking bloody dealer without question. June and Richard Meads. He's got a big smile on his face. That's because he's not racing. He's officially retired from racing. Was inducted to the Victorian Outboard Club as a life member. So that means he's never allowed to race again, June. He's well done. So now they'll be able to afford that pad in Paris that they've always wanted. Great to see him back here supporting. Obviously, we've got the next generation of the Meads family out there racing for the first time today, Mr. Jack Meads. I think the boat's called Jacket. Dave. I think it's called Jack Attack. I'm probably going to call it that now because it's stuck. But young Mr. Meads, 12 years of age, first race ever. He's got mum down there looking on anxiously. Dad's down there, got the board shorts on. And, hey, this is a bit of payback, Dave, for all the people that have held you out there in the water for many, many years. Big, strong racing family from Jeff Meads, the granddad of this young man out on the water, all the way through. Hey, the sun's shining, the birds are singing. Speaking about legends that have come back to play, I tell you what, I just see Richie Hannon walking through pit lane. The man is back. He's driving the boat called Rebound. He's won everything in this category. I'm putting the Mozza on him now, but he's been an absolute classic campaigner in the 1800, 2100 category. And he's going to war with one of his good mates in a boat called Cheyenne, which is Mr. Scott Rouse. The boats are the same hull shape, the two little Dancrafts, very different engines and very different setups. So I'll tell you what, Rich will be out there doing a wind dance. He wants it rough, Scotty wants it flat, but they're going to be elbow to elbow in that category. A whole lot of officials down here working very, very hard this morning. Got Mr. Stephen Scott. Steve Scott is the Vice President of Formula Future for Victoria Powerboat Racing. So his job is to keep these 13 juniors under control and all pointing in the right direction. So later on today you'll see him crying, sitting in a little deck chair, rocking himself quietly from side to side. But he's doing all right so far. The heart rate looks quite relaxed. So we've got our 3 brand new boats in the water right now. And to tell you what, you're not going to miss this one girl out there. The boat is called She's Addicted. Her name is Summer Johnson. Comes from a huge powerboat racing family. No pressure. She was trash talking a little bit around the pits yesterday, but this beautiful boat out of the Addicted Racing team. Mate, big Lindsay Johnson, mate. This guy, a lot for his sport. The owner of Flexi Strut, but has been around powerboat racing forever. Got the waders on. He's out there giving Summer some last-minute tips. So these are the next future superstars of our sport. Okay, so the race control just going through their last-minute radio checks, just checking in with all the rescue crew. We've got full radio comms around the course. And it won't be too long. We're going to release the hounds, these little 15 horsepower screaming demons. That looks pretty crazy, but if you've ever been in a go-kart, this is exactly what these things are. So when you're sitting absolutely on the water, you've got a throttle pedal on your foot and a steering wheel in front of you. Well, I tell you what, Meadsy's got that little girl propped up, the engine height. You can hear the prop slipping, and now it shakes off the cavitation. All right, so little Jack Meads. What do we call on the boat, Dave? Is it Jack Attack? Oh, Hijack. That's right, Hijacked. Not Jack Attack. Jack Attack's good too, though, but we'll call it Hijack because that's what he wants to call it. These beautiful little wing boats, they weigh almost nothing. So stock standard 15 horsepower outboard. Same kind of boat you'd go trolling in this river for a cod with in the engine. But have a look at the boat speed of this little wing boat now. He tucks it up into the breeze. Sitting very nicely. Mum's got the phone out. The heart rate is raising. Dad's got the hands on hips. This is his first angry lap in a race suit out there for this young kid. So he's got to go out and do a couple of laps and make sure Steve Scott, the Formula Future Vice President, is satisfied that he has the boat under control. And if that is the case, he'll come back in and he'll be allowed to go racing a little bit later on this morning. He's not scared of the throttle, I can tell you right now. That thing is absolutely redlined down the back chute there. So they call these boats wing boats. You can see as the air gets underneath them, less and less of the boat hits the water. So the boat goes faster, less friction, less drag, means the boat has less resistance, so it moves a lot more quickly. Now they don't have trim in these boats, so the trim must be set before you leave the bank. You're not allowed to adjust it. So it's not that easy. The crew, they've got to choose before it goes out as to how the conditions are going to be during the race. But that boat set up very nicely right now. I think the Leisure Sports Marine team gave the engine a bit of a freshen up to get it ready to race. We might have to get the scrutineers involved in that one and just check that we're all legal. Doing a beautiful job is young Jack Meads out there in hijacked. Yeah, checkered flag is going to fly this time round. So checkered flag, that's his signal to come back to the bank. Oh, another junior Amber Bull who makes her way down to the little hostile bull, getting ready for her turn to roll. So he's got a black and a checkered. So black and a checkered, he's done the right thing. He's continued on. So the checkered flag will come in and the black flag signals the return to pits. Might have snuck in an extra lap there, did the young fella, but hey, he won't mind. See, these boats are presented absolutely beautiful as I look down in front of the control tower and see the brand new Flammable. I think Amber Bull's peddling the Flammable, is that right? Oh, Tara Bull is peddling the Flammable, and down there, Amber, I know, I was talking about the boat, is sitting in front of a little hostile bull. She called it a little hostile because that's the way she races. She's pretty angry when she gets out there. Well, now she's even giving me the evil eye. Lucky I'm all the way up here in the tower. She can't get me from there. Okay, so Summer Johnson. She's addicted, so just coming back to the crew chief. She's not happy with the setup, so big LEJ, Lindsay Johnson out there. So we might get Voodoo. We might get Voodoo out on the water. Right, here she goes, ladies and gents. Her first ever race this weekend. Summer Johnson. She's Addicted is the name of the boat. Beautiful blue, pink and yellow machine. Another one of these wing boats. Great young kid, been around powerboating for a long time, but just really got the bug in the last 12 months and has decided she wants to go race. And have a look at the setup over there. Her brother, Michael Johnson, races at the very, very pointy end of powerboat racing in Australia in the 6 litre category. And was a very successful junior driver, so no doubt he'll be giving her plenty of tips. But Lindsay down there with the waders, keeping an eye on it. Nice and tight on the pins down there, so boat looking good. You can hear her just feathering the throttle as it comes through down there very nicely. So backs out of it, turns in a little bit. Stands back on the pedal. That's very, very nice racecraft from this young driver. So just slides the back of the boat through the mid-corner, picks up the inside turn, boy. That's a very nice turn. And back on the full noise, you can see the rooster tail lift. The boat picks up speed into the back chute. As I said, these boats are capable of about 48 to 50 miles per hour. So you're talking 80 kilometres an hour, and you're sitting on about 3 millimetres of fiberglass. You're very much at one with the water surface. So it's pretty exhilarating out there. And Victoria's got some of the best drivers in Australia. Actually, Kelsey Dempster, who's just retired, was the reigning Australian champion. We expect a few big things out of this young girl too. Right. Next time round, we'll see the checkered flag for this young lady. Black flag. They get pretty noisy down here at pit lane, ladies and gentlemen. That is the fly. The big blown alcohol displacement. One of the other things very tough as a junior is keeping an eye on the flags being flown from the course boats and the tower. Summer's done a beautiful job. Picked up the yellow flag, which is 1 lap to go, saw the checkered, and now she's been shown the black flag. That's not a penalty in this sport. That is your signal that you are cleared to return back to the launching pit area. So next up, we have the Voodoo. So this is their exciting runs for these brand. Max Seckham in the Voodoo. So give us a wave. There she is, her first flying laps for Summer Johnson. Just looking for it. There's a smile behind the visor down there from Summer Johnson. Yes, there's a smile on her dial, so she's really happy with the addicted machine. So Max Seckham now will go out in Voodoo Racing. This boat is owned by the Australian Powerboat Association. It's a boat you can loan if you're interested in getting involved. So if you've got a child that has a boat licence from the age of 12, they can approach any of the clubs in the APBA, because more than often than not we do have boats available for juniors to come and try. So Max, he's given up on it a bit early. Put your foot down, son. Oh, looks like we might have a stall. All right. Yeah. We need one of the status from the crowd. So it's Silver Mazda BT50. If you own a Silver Mazda BT50 APR 165, can you come to the bottom of the tower, please? Right, if you own a Silver Mazda BT50 in the car park, Rego APR 165, can you please come to the tower? Okay, so here we go. This is a race simulation, ladies and gents. The person on the inside is a very experienced campaigner. Hostile Bull. 30 seconds to go. Just down here in front of the tower, there's a great big clock. And the clock started at a minute when the white flag went up. And what they've got to do is they've got to hit this clock on 0 on the start-finish line. Now, they're a long way back. They need to get moving. You can see Dave Meads coaching from the bank. 15 seconds is a call from Steve Scott. If they get this right, they arrive on the line exactly on 0. 10. We'll get the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bang! Tell you what, on the outside is one of our novices. It is. It's Jack Meads. He said, I'm not waiting for you anymore. You're supposed to be teaching me, but this is racing. Summer Johnson with a beautiful turn. And I tell you what, Hostile Bull, she's just mucking around with these kids. She doesn't realise this is sheep stations. This is a spirited demonstration. Here we go, the drag race into the back chute. All these boats very, very different in conditions right now. Those super light wing boats out in front. You can see Summer Johnson got a bit of pace. She's going to have to back right out of it now. Work the boat around. Oh, there's a bit of a push on the outside now from big Jack Meads. In the hijacked, that's right, hijacked to the outside now. Johnson to the inside, nice on the pins. Easing around. I thought you guys are supposed to be following me. But no way. Yellow flag, 1 lap to go. Oh, a bit of lift out of there, the pink machine on the inside. Summer Johnson, she's addicted. The outside, have a look at Meads, he's just sitting on a hammer. Now, one of the rules about powerboat racing, when you go into a corner in pole number 2, you're going to stay pole. Oh, Summer Johnson out of her mid-corner. Jack Meads, he's going on the outside now. He can technically, 3 boat lengths, he can come across and try and hose her off. But the boat speed from the addicted camp. Oh, now this is pressure. Trying to sneak a boat up the inside. Jack has a look over. He knows she's there. He's going to hold it tight. Oh, there's a bit of racecraft here. He's staying wide. Summer's got the inside run. It's going to come down to a drag race. The checkered flag is flying. In the meantime, in a Hostile Ball, she was supposed to be showing these kids how to do it. They've got the jump on her at the start line. And here we go. The nose goes in the air. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Ladies and gentlemen, first race. A race win. For Summer, the Stunner Johnson with the super smile. Jack made beautiful move in the mid-corner there. Now, the question is, have they seen the checkered flag? Do they even know the race is over? I don't reckon they do. And when one of them goes past the other and goes, hang on, are we still racing? And that's exactly what's happened now. Summer's got back on the juice. And they're going to keep racing until we go out there and turn them off. Or they run out of petrol. Okay, so a little bit of a hook and a slide up there. But anyway, the black flag's now flying out there. Very short race, but Meadsy. Now, this is, of course, Formula Future. This is the first race for these guys. And I tell you what, a little Hostile Bull. Here we go, right. They finally got the message. The smoke signals from the bank have got them sorted. Wow, that was a bit of excitement, wasn't it? Now, that was only 3 boats. Wait till we see 5. Now, we're still looking, I think, for the owners of a Silver Mazda BT there in the car park. If you own a Silver Mazda BT50, can you please come to the tower and get my attention, please? Okay, John Nidre, not John Nidre, John Nidre, our jet ski operator. I believe we found you a jet ski, so if you can come to the tower and see Ray, please. Big Summer Johnson in the She's Addicted. Bit of an extra flying lap. She's getting the message for her big brother Mikey, the Mad Dog Johnson, on the beach. Just what you need, your brother telling you what to do at a boat race. Well, let's face it, Mikey, she's got more talent than you ever had in the first race, so let's just see how it rolls. Have a look at these boats glinting down here in the sun. New boat, brand new. Came across from Adelaide out there, the black with the flames on the deck. The boat's called Flammable. Magic Jackson. That's no good. Alright, so it's starting to get a little bit exciting, guys. So obviously we're giving our crews down here in the pit lane plenty of time to get ready for the big bangers to start flying. One more of these little shakedown races and then we're going to get in, I believe, to the Unlimited. So not putting too much pressure on him, but another brand new boat we're going to see out here is the man behind the wheels, Razor Ray Lindray, Rev Limit Racing. He's not a very good looking rooster, that ugly. In fact, we had to put a lid on his boat, so he's now racing a cell displacement for the very first time. Much better for the people on the bank. They don't have to check his rough head out as he goes flying past at about 120 miles an hour in the big 6-litre rig. So a bit of heartbreak out there, so a bit of work to do in the Jackson camp. As I said, that is an APBA boat, so unfortunately not exactly functioning as one would hope right now for Big Maxi. Okay, can we have Ian Hamilton to the fly, please? All right, Unlimited drivers, can you please get your boats to the boat ramp and start getting yourselves ready? Oh, there you go, big rival. Johnny Backer, you are here, mate. I thought I saw you creeping. Rival at the boat ramp. So right, that's going to be on the watch out there. Rival v Fly v the Big Wasp. Grand Prix hydroplane versus two of the biggest, baddest known blown alcohol displacements in Australia. Going to be on flight Donkey Kong. So we're just getting the rest of this junior boats out of the way, and then we're going to get ready to launch the big unlimited. So you probably can't see it from the bank, but over here is the big crane. Well, you might be able to see the crane, you might be able to see what it's hooked up to, but we have the Wasp, this Grand Prix hydroplane. This boat is 160, 170 miles per hour every day of the week. Darren Pennington just put this boat back together with Tony and the rest of the Pennington crew. Right, so Max gets out there, he's changed boats, so it's a big team, this Jackson Racing clan, isn't it? They've actually gone for their spare boat. Oh, a frog just fell out of the tree. It was John. Just so you know, I've sold him out. John Lindray, if you're about, can you please go to the tower to see Ray? We found you your jet ski. John Lindray. All right, so we're now going to see the other bull, flammable Tara Bull. She's going to take out and lead Max, who was in the Voodoo for the last of the sighting races. This is a requirement of Transport Safety Victoria to allow the juniors to proceed. So it's only the first time ever, so apologies, it takes a little while, but it's all in the interest of safety for our junior competitors. Once you've done this, you never have to do it again. Okay, so blue flag, that's the signal to release these boats out. Right, this is my first look at this brand new boat of Tara's out there, the flammable. Super light little rig too, so so now they're just going to make their way down the back straight. When they get up to the start area, you will see them both slow down. The white flag will be put up, and that will signal 60 seconds to start. Okay, so you can see now Tara in the flammable slows him up. So Max needs to slow down with her. So once they get up to a position where the judges in the tower are satisfied, the blue flag goes down and the white flag will go up. You ready? Okay, and white flag, clock starts. So 60 seconds from now, these two should be on the line going full bottle. So Max is swapped out with his brother Jacko into the blue boat after Voodoo had a bit of a drama. He's on the outside. Here's our novice. He's been guided in his first on water by Tara Bull in the flammable on the inside. So probably about 15 seconds down. So yeah, this is looking a little bit better. So the idea is, as I said, you hit this line on 0. All right, we're probably coming up around 30 seconds now. We want to see these boats getting up on the plane. Want to see him getting up on the plane, but we're not yet. Come on, Tara, put your foot into it. 15 seconds to go. They're going to be late. 10. They're going to be very late, but that's all right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bang. They should be here right now. So they've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. A little bit of a loss at the start, but that's okay. All right, so green flag racing now. Very, very wide from Maxi. He's got the boat speed, but tell you what, you've got to turn him first. Nice move up the inside from Tara, Inflammable. But oh, gee, there's some boat speed. That wind now picking up the little wing boat. This is Max's first run in this thing, so he'll have his heart in his mouth. Just needs to take it steady out there, but he's not. He's just dropped the hammer on it into the back chute. So Tara Bull in her brand new Flammable now. Of course, just there talking to Mum up in the tower. This is her first drive of this boat too in race conditions. So Flammable to the inside. All right, so there is a boat speed difference. Now Maxi in Voodoo weighs about 1 kilo. You can see it, the boat is only just sitting in the water. He's blown past that corner again by about 35 odd metres. And that's going to give Tara an option up the inside. Here we go. So you've got to make sure he's blowing out his pole a little bit wide on the way through. So as I mentioned before, you've got to actually stay in your line. Now clock starts and pole boat starts. You're going to see both today. The inboard races will be via a pole boat. So there's a boat out there that sets the pace for these boats, and when the flag drops, the you-know-what stops, and they launch. For the outboard races, however, we have what's called a clock start. This is the same in all the junior and the senior races. Race 1, everyone is off 0, but race 2 comes a handicap. So if you've beaten me by 10 seconds, I might get a 5 or 6 second head start in race number 2. That little stiff breeze, yellow flag. He looks over his shoulder. He's not sure. Here's Maxi, but he's got it sorted. He's got the hand up, he's all right. He looks over, he's doing a good job just staying with her right now. All that wind starting to build. A little bit choppier. That's going to work in the favour of Flammable. So you can see the trim in these two boats. Flammable is just going to ride through that little chop a little bit better. Yeah, very nice corner there from Tara too. So he's got the power down nice and smoothly. Very fast and loose. Jimmy Bobby out the back there with Max. In the blue machine, but Tara now, she's got the bit between the teeth, got the inside run. It's checkered flag flying now, so this time through will be, again remembering this is just a demonstration race. So Tara now comes through the first hit out in the brand new Flammable out of the Bullshot Racing team. Oh, Max is just leaning on it, son. She's light and she's fast and loose, and he could go swimming. It's going to be nothing in this. Here we go. Bang. Flammable is the call. Hey, beautiful drive from Max. He's out there. Has he seen the checkered flag? I think they have. Black flag flies. Time to go to base. All right, ladies and gents, that is the end of our induction of the Formula Future. So get yourselves to the bank, because we're about to go to the exactly opposite end of the scale. Unlimited displacement. Sorry, unlimited open inboard. You're going to see a Grand Prix hydroplane with about 1,800 horsepower up against 2 blown alcohol displacements. And of course the big helium, the big hydroplane of Mark Healy. Out there, 2 hydros versus 2 displacements. This is going to be one to watch, ladies and gents. You're going to hear them start up very, very shortly. And then we're going to get this show on the road. So come on, all you kids down there on the back, give them a round of applause for Max and Tara out there. Wave your hands, they won't hear you, but they'll certainly see you. Take your hat off, good on them. First one out and a finish to both of those boats. Next time out, there'll be no friends. There you go, and racing. Oh, looky over here. Mr. Darren Pennington has been strapped in to the big red and orange Wasp Racing. If you've never seen a Grand Prix hydroplane on the water, be prepared to be amazed. These things literally tear the surface of the water apart. Nearly a couple of thousand horsepower driving through a gearbox into a prop shaft and ripping it to pieces. 200-300 feet of water out behind them. And very shortly we're going to get this show on the road. Down on the boat ramp right now. This is a bit of a cavalcade of superstars. Johnny Backer in the rival. This guy does not when to quit. He's blown more bloody blower belts and blowers off top of engines than anyone I've ever met. And of course, Dean and Lou Gleeson, the Fly, sitting up there. This boat, only about 18 months old, and mate, really starting to come on song. This is going to be one to watch, ladies and gents. I'll come back to you in a couple of minutes, and we'll get these bad boys flying. John Nidry, please come to the tower when you get a chance. John Nidry, just need to update the tower board, the poles for the drivers, please. Listen to the thunderous roar. This first boat out on the water is John Backer in the rival. Blown alcohol, so supercharged alcohol, methanol running. Get warmed up out there, so he's just idling around right now. And when they drop the flag on this race number one, you're going to see something like 7,000 horsepower across these boats hit the water all at once. The rooster tails will fly. Just get a little idea of how much horsepower, foot, or the left foot I should say, of Johnny. So I'm not sure if you're going to hear me right now, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Can you hear me, Richard? Can't hear anything. Oh, it's Kiss Cam. Okay, so if you look to your left, you'll see the start boat now picks up the right flag. So these teams are now going to come right back around and pick up line astern with this start boat. He's going to then take them right there down the back end of the lake, turn around into the back straight to get the opposite. That flag is going to drop and they are going racing. They've got 3 flying laps. Mark Healy, boat number 421. So the start boat speed for this race will be about 85, 90 miles an hour. So that's about 150 to 140 kilometres an hour. The start boat will be going when they drop the flag. They've got to go that fast to keep these big hydroplanes up on top of the water so that the screen doesn't get covered in water, the driver doesn't go blind. So the boys out there in the start boat, the Ramsey boys are out there having a bit of a play. So right down the back of the course now, you'll see the start boat inside pole. Just trying to pick up who's going to take pole. I think we're going to have the Fly, I think, has got pole right now. We'll just wait and see. So the poles have been drawn early this morning. Okay, so yes, we do. We have pole 1 is the Fly, pole 2 is Mark Healy, and Helium, pole 3 is the Wasp. The white flag flying when that flag drops. Leans the big Wasp in, full nose around the outside, but Dino Gleeson in the Fly, beautiful turn one. This boat in development, it'll be its first full season of racing. We haven't seen the Wasp. Countdown, Dino races. This course very, very tight for the big Grand Prix hydroplane. Mark Healy now wrestling the helium through this turn number 3. Gleeson stands on the cap plate, buries the nose of the fly. You see the spray come forward off the chine. Has a double bite of that corner, but gets back on the gas nice and smooth. The boat just leaps out of the water. Pennington now in the Wasp. We're struggling a little bit with some prop slippage there. You can hear the boat loading and unloading. Mark Healy now to your left of screen. Brings helium through the turn very nicely. The open cockpit hydroplane. I tell you what, it's great to see this guy back at the podium of the field. The checkered flag is flying. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Team Gleeson in the flag. Race 1 and a convincing win out of the big blown alcohol displacement. And Darren Pennington now just easing the Wasp back home. Just tickles the throttle a little bit to give the crowd a bit of a rooster. They said this boat just back on the water, so they've got a whole lot of development to do, so they're probably running at about half pace. Here we go, Mark Healy's going to buzz the tower. The big helium now, how nice and salutes the tower, the 6-litre hydroplane. What a beautiful piece of gear that is. Yeah, so Mark Healy giving away probably somewhere around 1,000 horsepower in his 6-litre hydroplane, having a great result. Getting up there, but have a look at Dino Gleeson, he's chuffed with that. Just dancing a little fly around on the way back to the boat ramp. Give him a round, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be very, very happy. Major sponsors, Kingston Cars and Financial Lifestyle Managers. Big shout out to Lou Gleeson as well. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Now that he can hear us, Darren Pennington in at the Wasp. So the first hit out, 1 start, 1 finish. That's what you want to see. These massive high performance engines. There's so much stuff to get dialed in. The angle of the turn fin, the prop, the transmission, the whole box and dice. So a good first outing from the Wasp. Every time you see that boat, it's just going to get quicker and quicker. Okay, well, that was a bit exciting out there with the big bangers having their first hit out. So these guys, this is the first race of the season, so they're just starting to warm things up a little bit. Check things. By the end of the day, they're going to be absolutely on point. So we're going back to our Formula Future. This is the first race of the year for these guys. 6 rounds of racing, 3 to 4 races a day, and this one's off scratch. So everybody hits the clock at 0 in race number 1. It'll be chaos, it'll be carnage, and they'll all come back with a massive smile. Trying to work out who's in this one, but I think we've got Taylor Jackson running in the Race Marine. She's going to be out there Tyler Gilligan, boat number 24, the white boat with a big fluorescent sign in Epic. Flammable. All right, looking further down the field, I've said we've got Flammable. The brand new boat, Tara Ball, the first real race in this thing for her. A little bit further out, I'll tell you what, this is this kid's first race. The big J3 on the motor, UB844. And of course, we speak of Mr. Jack Meads, the mediator. His old man's crashed more boats than I've had Maccas, and I've eaten a fair bit of that, I can assure you. So he's come from a good racing background. Dave's either winning or binning things, and by the look of that first race, the young fella's not too far off. And on the outside, a brand new rig, the Black Weapon, young Lily Taranto. We've got a blue flag or what? All right, blue flag, that's their signal, away they go. Okay, let's count them out there, ladies and gents. Tell that Lily Taranto, that little black machine, she's running a fair bit of trot out there. Big Mick looking on, once the nose of that boat gets over, she'll be right as rain. Here we go, just lean on it, kiddo. It'll get there. Oh, here we go. It's all right, Tara just thought she saw Elvis for a second then. Good to see Kim Ball, the president of the APBA, down there up to his knees in water as his daughter, well, one of his daughters raced today. The two girls are racing. All right, so the crew now, there we go, Lily Taranto got the boat down on the plane now, so beautiful from her. So they're all going to make their way up to the starting dock when they all get there and the starter's happy. White flag goes up, 60 seconds. Sorry, they got a warm-up lap. There you go. Yeah, okay, so some are really warm and some aren't. Oh, they're going to... Here's Tyler Gilligan getting the elbows out there. We want to watch that, or the boys in the tower will be pinging him flat out for that one. Okay, so they have decided they're going to take their warm-up lap. There goes Tara Ball. She's going to be super warm. Hey? No. Oh. Now remember these guys, their first race, just wait till the crosses. All right, so we've got it happening now up the top end. Okay, so you can see them out to your left now like a little pack of bull sharks, the juniors. Up in the tower, we're getting ready for white flag coming up now. That'll be 60 seconds to start. White flag up. So the clock has started, ladies and gents. The clock has started counting down. All right, so we're counting down at the time now. You see the more experienced campaigners get up nice and close on this line. "15 seconds is the call. 10. Starting to move down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's going to be Jack Meads. The novice. He's going to take the first. Sorry, they've cost themselves about 6 seconds, but he's away and racing. Off we go. So the inside, Tyler Gilligan. Outside Meads. Got to hold their poles on the way through. There goes, who's that? Oh, Race Marine. So it is, oh, Jackson. So Taylor Jackson going around now. Taylor Ball in the flammable. And Lily Taranto in race number 1. So back shoot. Now we know this little epic boat's fast, but he has been known to hook this thing in. So we have to keep a lid on it on this way through the corner. Taking a bit of air there now on the way through, but leading the first lap through. Got a great yeah, green flag. Yep. So Tyler Gilligan now comes through into second spot. It's hijacked. Jack Meads now. Oh, there's a big move coming from Taylor Jackson and Race Marine. Boat number 9 as he comes across the line. He's got some good speed on there. There comes Terrible and Flammable. Looking very, very poised there. Watch her turn through here. Flammable leans on it on the inside of the wash. That's clever racecraft. Sits on the inside of the bubble. But down the back chute now, Lily Taranto. First race in this brand new boat. Here we go. So down a little bit on the boat speed. Brand new boat. So here she goes. She's got the foot into it and she's on the way through. But Tyler Gilligan, boat number 24. He weighs 2.5 kilos, ringing wet. And in these conditions right now, providing he doesn't end up lashing the wrong way, he's got a commanding lead as he goes around. Oh, Race Marine, Terrible, Taylor Jackson, and Terrible, Inflammable on the inside run. Have a look at Tara now. She's going to go the short time around. Yes, it's a good move there. So, tell you what, should have come over and shut the door on her there in the middle of that back straightaway. But the Race Marine, very, very light and flighty. And as the conditions chop up a little bit, the Flammable getting the better of it. Is this checkered flag? It sure is. How fast did that happen? Put your hands together. I wasn't ready. Tyler Gilligan in epic for the race win. Jack Meads in the hijack. Can he put himself into a podium spot in his first ever official race? I think he can, barring lack of fuel. He certainly has made great job. Beautiful start. So he got the best of the starts first time out. Well played, that young man. And he's through, and a very, very nice drive in the brand new rig. Flammable Tara Bull brings it home very nicely. And there's a bit happening at the back of the grid here. There we go. Race Marine, boat number 9, Taylor Jackson, and Lily Taranto in her brand new baby. Home safe and sound. I think the boat's called Chasing a Little Cash. I'm not 100% sure. It's got a very long name. Black flag, please. Black flag is the call. So Tyler probably thinks he's got another lap to do, but he doesn't. Right, so quick driver change, and as we saw, the Voodoo machine was out of action, so we got Big Max second. So Big Maxi second, jumping into Race Marine. This is the SRT race team, I think they're called. The second, no, JST, Jackson Seacombe Taranto race team. One of the biggest junior race teams in Australia right now. It's all a little bit Hollywood, all these kids getting carried into their boats. Right, one more junior race, ladies and gents, then we're going to get into the big bangers. We're going to get back into a little bit of our class racing. And you're going to see one of the biggest fields hitting the water that we've got all weekend. Blue flag is the call. That's the signal to get out there. Go and have a look at the course. So let's have a look at them as they go. First one away, she's champion of the bit. Summer Johnson, she's addicted. Amber Bull in a little hostile bull. Jacko second in the brand new baby blue machine. Max second is going out in a Race Marine. And I tell you one to watch. That's that kid out there in the white boat with the big drag marks down the side. That is Intruder. Luke Benici. The kid is fast and loose, and he frightens his mum and me every time he goes boat racing. So quick warm-up lap for these guys. Have a look at the course. Conditions change considerably with this bit of breeze. Right, Benici decides he's going to have a bit of a look at this course as well. Amber Bull in the hostile, slows it up a little bit, waits for the rest of the pack. You can see he puts the foot on the gas now, get the little hostile up and rolling. When they get to the top end of the course. Alright, so white flag has been called, the clock has started. Okay, so there's some pretty experienced kids out here. I tell you what, little Benucci's going to be one of them. You can see him now starting to move a fair bit closer so he can get a good eyeball on the clock. We'll try and pick up their poles. I think to the inside we've got Hostile, Amber Bull. She knows what she's doing. Had the word from Dad. Just outside that, I think, is Intruder. That's going to be a hell of a battle into turn number 1. To the outside of some of our novices. So, the pink boat. Summer Johnson. All right, have a look at Benici now. Pole 2, Benici. What have we got? 15 seconds to go. 10 seconds, Benici's on it. Here comes Bull. This is a much better start. 5, 4, 3. Have a look at the start from those two. Go is the call. They are bang on. Beautiful. Amber Bull and Hostile on the outside is little Benici. The Maltese Falcon and hell yeah. Better have the turns from Bull now, but have a look, Benici. This boat's quick on the outside. Here we go. Who have we got left behind? Oh, we've got our novice out there, Max, in Race Marine. Oh, put it down, son. Put it down. He's super light. He's going a little bit hard into the breeze there. That'll slow him up in the next time too. He can go flat out in the back straight, but don't go flat out into a headwind, kiddo. You'll go swimming for sure. Brand new boat out there for Jackson. Second, the blue boat makes a move to the inside of Summer Johnson. She's yielded the inside, couldn't get it in, but have a look now. Who have we got coming around this first turn? Here it is, it's the Bull. Hostile Bull now. So a little Hostile Amber Bull up the inside. The boat speed of Benici though. He's got to go the long way around her. She'll have her elbows out. He's got to be at oh, put her down, son. He's had to back out. He's nearly blown her over. This is fast and loose out there for the juniors. Nice turn to the inside. He's got a bit more mid-corner speed. But down the back chute, he's much closer this time. Well, we'll have a good drive from Amber Bull now. Can she hold off the Maltese Falcon? He owns a fleet of fish and chip shops and small goods. He's driving beautifully right now. Geez, Hostile's going well. There goes the Voodoo Man in Race Marine. Maxi second, doing a beautiful job. Jacko second now. I tell you what, there's a move coming from Summer Johnson. She's moved to the inside of the wash of the little blue boat. So a little bit of race car. A few big rollers out the back for these kids. They're taking some big hits, ladies and gents. I'll tell you what, Benici, he'll be, look at him, he's leaning forward over the wheel to try and keep the nose down. But Amber Bull, the Hostile Bull, after all it in. Benici, he's fast, he's loose, he's had to back it out. Oh, he's still into it. He's got the courage of a lion as the little man. He needs more gold chains to weigh him down in the front. I tell you what, Jacko second is no slouch. He's gaining on these two. Second now, he's worked his way up into this. He's got a half a chance of getting up along the side of Benici in this last lap. Summer Johnson looking beautiful through there, and she's addicted. And Maxi second in the Voodoo. So the two boys out there, brothers in arms, racing side by side. Yeah, oh, a little bit of a bog from Summer, so these conditions have changed a lot for these little wing boats. Check it, Mum's in the tower running the timing. She's going to jump off the front of the building here. Oh, but can she do it? It's a drag race. Benici will throw everything at it. Amber looks over her shoulder. It's Amber Bull and Hostile. Here comes Benici. Oh no, it's a run of the line. And it's Hostile. Benici half a boat length. Jackson second, reeled him in, mate. After dropping a bit of time at the start in the brand new boat. And there's a race coming at the end of the field here. The two novices. Summer Johnson on! There we go, Max. Mum's just fainted. Oh, I can't figure it. Race Marine to the outside, maybe. Oh, Mum's got her hands on her head. She's in tears. Oh, well, there you go, kids. Tell you what. So mums and dads, if you want to get your kids into a sport they're going to love and you'll have a heart attack every now and then, come and see us at the APBA and get into some powerboat racing for these kids. Wow, some unbelievable racing. But, hey, tell you what, some big moves out there. Amber Bull in Hostile drove the perfect race out of pole one, got the pole one advantage and made the absolute most of it. Did not put a foot wrong in the hard charging Benici man. The little Maltese flyer, mate, he couldn't get there, but tell you what, he gave it absolutely everything. All right, well, that's the end of our junior program for a little while. We're going to see them back much later on in the day, so we're going to start making a whole lot of noise and pick the boat speed up a little bit. I'll tell you what, if you thought the juniors were pretty exciting to watch, wait till you see the 25 horsepower category. Woo-wee! My son Zach Murphy, racing in one of the other categories, actually binned the boat here last time round. doing exactly that. Going a little bit hard into the headwind and the boat went over. Come on, guys, put your hands together for them now. They're back to the beach. Wave your hands, wave your hats. That was an unbelievable race. An Amber Bull in a little hostile takes the race win by half a boat length from young Benici. Very, very tight racing. Now, this, of course, the reason we use a clock is because it's handicap racing for the outboard category. So what that means is if you beat me in the first race, I get to start in front of you in the second race. So I tell you what, those two poles will swap around in race number 2. Right, there goes the hurdle, ladies and gents. We're about to go racing in the 95 mile an hour category. So for the first time ever, we're going to see the full course in that 95. It's got a couple of brand new boats racing this weekend. So the way this works, this is a speed capped category. You are not allowed to exceed 90 miles per hour. You are disqualified. So you've got to win, but make sure you do not break down. This is the biggest class of the day. 9 boats out there. Let's have a look at them. Couple of first timers. Right, so the first boat out there down the back chute, that is another madam. On the inside is Frenzy. There's Robbie King in Viking. The big black hydro is Old Horny. Ray Lindo in the sailboat out the back, and we've got a couple of new drivers this weekend. One of those boats is Insanity. Big Jim Mullins behind the wheel. Haven't seen him race for a long time. Russell Jones out there in the yellow hydroplane in the hot cookie. And Stevie Bad Boy Rumble in Cut Cat Racing. Have a look at him. I'd step back from the bank if I was you. This is going to get pretty exciting. We've got different types of boats. You can see we've got a couple of hydroplanes out there up against. We've got a couple of hydros out there up against their displacements. So starting to get themselves organised. Next time round, the start boat will pick them up. Take them out the back, drop the flag in the back shot, and we'll go racing for 3 long laps. Alright, so you're going to have to tighten up this foot a little bit or they're not going to make it through the turn. So here we go, have a look at them. Alright, so cast your eyes to the right of your screens as they all line up there. Get themselves into good position order. And we're going to try and call out. Okay, so inside pole, a big advantage to the guy that won this series last year. Mr. Brett Clark in the frenzy, I think, has got pole one. Luck of the draw. So they all come into a line now alongside the start boat. He needs to slow it up a little bit, give him a chance to get into a line-up. Here's the speed. So he's boring in the spot. Here we go. It's got a good look at him now as they come through. Two novice drivers getting out of the way, but have a look at the big wide turn they've thrown down the top there. 95 miles an hour, they'll be right on. Have a look at the race at the front of the field. Brett Clark in the frenzy. Maxie Stevens in the man. Right, so I beg your pardon. That's Cat. I think that's Steve Rumble. We got about stopped at the top of the course, the Cookie Monster. The Cookie Monster has broken down, so the caution flags fly. Peter McDonald, 81 years of age in the old Horny now, takes it through. Oh, we've got a shutdown from Ray Lindray. The Rev Limit, brand new boat. And Cookie Monster right now up in the top, so we've got retirements everywhere. Moonshine now withdraws. There's smoke on the water. But the race carries on. Yellow flag this time round. Last lap. Out in front. Right, here we go on the way through. Brett Clark in at that frenzy. Oh, we got another one out there now. Cat Racing. Steve Rumble. Oh, he's fired up and he's relying on Robbie King says thank you very much. And Maxie Stevens says, I'll take that. Peter McDonald in the old Horny, he's 80 years old, I think, from memory. 79 or 80 years old. He's a madman. 72, is he? 80 sounded better. Insanity up and about. Jim Mullins. He's got dramas on board the Insanity rig. Here we go. This is the checkered flag, ladies and gentlemen. They've come out to have a fist fight, and they certainly have. We've broken boats. We've got boats stopped everywhere. Put your hands together for it, Mr. Brett Clark, ladies and gentlemen, in the frenzy. Maxie Stevens in another, madam. Big bad Robbie King in biking takes the third spot, and Stevie Rumble in Cat Racing. He'll be heartbroken with that one. Steps off the podium. Peter Mack, this little hydro. 5 litre. Absolutely flying out there amongst all these displacements. He's dropped it. And in his first race back is Mr. Jim Mullen. Big Jim Mullins in the Insanity, doing it pretty tough out there. And that is the black flag, ladies and gents. Wowee, what a race. Tell you what, all happening up in the tower. The buttons were getting pushed everywhere. Put your hands together for him, mate. Brady Clark in the frenzy for the win. Can't even tell if I'm... Tell you what, I'm going to get a chance to grab hold of Stephen Rumble after this one, because the way that looked in the front straight there, him looking down to his right-hand side, I reckon the kill switch was pulled. He had to look down and was fiddling with something in the cockpit and then fired the boat back up again. So I reckon maybe he took a big hit and lost his kill switch. Yeehaw, ladies and gents. Wow, that's pretty exciting racing. And you wonder what all the excitement is in the tower. Down there is a Noah's Big Jess. We haven't given her a nickname. The Machine. Jess the Machine flossing now for the crowd. She's working the crowd. Her first ever race in a 25. If you've ever driven a 25, you'll know it's a near-death experience. Not sure if she knows what she's in for. And this one is going to be red hot. I tell you, the yellow boat sitting down the very back, Excalibur. The boat's owned by Clem and Sammy Lucas. Can't be here this weekend because they're up at the Denny Ute Muster. And they bolted in one of the loosest guys that I know, Luke Bonici. The Bonici, the other fabulous Bonici brother. Yeah, rocks a fair mullet, he does. So this is the older of the two Maltese Falcon. You've got Mum down there in the waders. Give him a bit of a wave. So we got a boat to tow in. Yep. We got Jess the Machine. We'll just call her the Machine. Climbs into APBA 13. So there's 4 boats in this field. The other one's going to be one to watch. Now, this is a father-son racing against each other. Mark Sumo Sutherland is going to be out there racing in one of the quickest boats getting around, the Usain boat. Now, this boat was driven by my son, Zach Murphy, here last year. Went in the back straight, a gust of wind, picked it up and flipped him over in a complete barrel roll. And he went swimming. So, hey, good luck, Sumo. Hope you do better than Zach did. But anyway, he's up against his young son. Well, he's not that young now, Big Liam. He's 18 years of age in the Black Bull. Another one of the Bull Shot racing team here. So, father v son, Liam versus Mark. Sumo versus the young gun. Who will be bragging on the way home in the car this afternoon? So, Luke, the Maltese Falcon down there in the yellow boat. Luke Bonici. Look. I think it's Carl. Have I got the wrong Bonici brother? I don't know. Pete will tell me. Jess is down there. She's just revving it up. The machine just on the revs. Giving it heaps. Wait till she puts it into gear. She'll go even faster. I just got a couple of messages here. Forgot about the live stream, ladies and gents. So, hey, if you've got friends that can't be here and you want to check the action out, jump on to Big Scotty Lambert's live stream, Australian GP Hydro. And Scotty's down there doing some magnificent camera work. And now that I'm doing that, I did have to hang up on a great mate of mine the other day. Hey, sorry, just had a bit of a moment, thought sorry of us. But no, big shout out to a bloke who's probably watching this from home. He's just had another six or 8 or 9 or 10 pins put in his leg after a bit of a bingle at the World Championship Ski Racing, the World Ski Racing Championships over there in Vichy in France. Big shout out to David Bishop, mate. Unfortunately, we can't have you here this weekend, Bishop. But, mate, you know that we'd much rather be listening to you than me. Another one I've got here, Rolf Stanisic. Hello, Rolf. The Mexican, Rolf and Maddie, the Stanisic boys from All the Talk Photography, watching live from South Australia. So, yeah, if you've got any friends that are interested in this kind of stuff, get them to jump on to the Glenmaggie District Boat Club Facebook page. Or they can check out GP Hydro for the live stream action brought to you by none other than Scotty, the Madman Lambert. Oh, Davey Mead's just putting a bit of extra methanol in there for the nitro bottle. As long as you don't get protested, you should be fine, Dave. All right, so next up is a 25 horsepower category. These things fly, literally fly. So you're talking 60 plus miles an hour. The boats are super light. Same thing, no trim in these boats. So when I talk about trim, it's the ability to put the engine in and out as the boat's moving. What that does is it means you can drop the nose or lift the nose depending on what the wind's doing. As we saw in the junior races, when you get too much wind under one of these boats, they are more than capable of going over backwards and spinning you out, as happened last year here at this very venue. So we're going to release these guys from the beach very shortly. We're going to do a full flying lap. Hey, little Benucci. Oh. Hey, the other guy I didn't give a shout out to that's running this one is Mr. Charlie Kerwood in the boat, the 43, little cat. That's a pretty exciting machine to watch as well. He actually got thrown out of it up there at Lake Charm. Boat turned left, Charlie didn't, and went for a bit of a swim. All right, I can see Usain Boat down there, Big Mark, Sumo Sutherland in the white boat. Charlie Kerwood's in the water. Can't see the black bull. Okay, so I reckon we're ready to go for a start. A big shout out to all of our rescue crews out there on the water. We've got the divers here from the Bairnsdale Scuba Club. No. Tell you what, conditions dropping off that tiny bit. That's exactly what we needed. Blue flag flying. The hooter goes. Oh, Jess, the machine. Come on, Dave. You got your phone in your pocket? Yeah, oh, no, Benici stalled down the back too. Benici stalled it in Excalibur as well. He doesn't put it in gear yet. He drops it into gear. Okay, Excalibur's up and rolling. Right. Can we get the machine underway, the APBA 13? Oh, we've got dramas down here with the machine. She's running out of fuel, revving it up on the bank. So they're going to do a full warm-up lap, these guys, so a little bit of time. Gives it a little bit of a pat for good luck. Right, we've got dramas there. We have dramas in the APBA 13 camp. Now, unbeknownst to most people on the bank, Jess actually gave up her ride in Excalibur to jump into this boat. And right now, I'm sure she'd rather swap. Richie Mead's out there now as well. We've got the whole crew out there. Picking the revs up. So out there on the water, Liam Sutherland, the black bull down on the left off screen, the all black boat. So you've got a little bit of time to try and get APBA 13. I'll tell you what, once it gets going, do not back off for 1 minute. So the white and black boat out there is Usain Boat. Very, very quick mark, Sumo Sutherland. So also got Barry Sutherland. So grandfather to Liam, father to Mark, and one of the best offshore powerboat racers this country's ever produced. We're here with us today, so big shout out to Barry Sutherland. Well, things aren't right there. And here there's a bit of flooding happening there, a bit of choke flooding. Charlie Kerwood in the 43. 43 because it's the little brother of the big boat, 42, which we're going to see out here very shortly in the outboard mono racing. All right, so just another warm-up lap now as they come through. Oh, hey, little Benici getting a little bit of airborne. So out that Excalibur boat there with Benici in it, he's very, very lightweight. He's going to be super quick, providing he can keep the boat on the water's surface. On the way through, a bit of a heartbreak for the machine down there with Jess. Fingers crossed, the boys working furiously down there can get this thing to stay running. I'm sure once it goes, it'll stay going. Tell you what, if they can get her off the beach now, she's still in with a chance of making the start. But it ain't looking that flush, to be honest. Bit of a drama with the... All right, so a little bit of a delay in getting the clock started. We actually had something unplugged up here. So anyway, we've got it sorted now. 30 seconds to go. So 30 seconds to go. Now these things have got a fair bit of acceleration. All right, 15 seconds. 15 seconds. The inside is Liam, Charlie Kerwood coming out of 2. The outside, Mark. So this is the father and son. They're approaching it, but have a look at Benici at the back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bang. They're on point. Liam to the inside. Down to the outside. He's got the elbows up. Up Benici charging through the middle of the Excalibur. Keep the nose down, son. Lean forward or you're going to go over. Oh, have a look at the speed out of these three. Charlie Kerwood, he's got the big 40 on it, and the 43 has not gone anywhere. Oh, has there been a fuel tampering issue in the 25-550 category? Just the machine is down here, heartbroken. Around we go, Liam Sutherland, beautiful out of pole 1. He's made him earn it to the outside. His old man sweeping around in the white boat. Now watch Benici in this back chute. The little yellow boat with the wind at its back will be lightning fast if he can hang on to it. Yes, he says, see you later to Hussein boat. And Mark Sutherland, look at him, he's tucked down, he's leaning back as far as he can to get the nose up in the air. And it's working for him now, but out the front, Liam, Charlie Kerwood cannot get the boat up off the plane, so heartbreaking for him. This has been a battle of attrition. We had 5, and by the drop of the flag, we've got 3, but it's going to be close, gunnel to gunnel. Oh, nice turn from Blackpool. Liam Sutherland out in front. Sumo, the big man in the white boat, gets blown wide but keeps his boat speed. And have a look at the Maltese Falcon in the middle. Benucci, get forward over the wheel, son. Have a look at him. He can't get any further forward or he's going to fall out the front of the thing. Oh, here comes Sutherland. There's about 80 kilos of weight difference between those two drivers. And Sutherland getting the better of it into the headwind. Kerwood's finally up and racing. So the 42 machine is on point now. Oh, Kerwood's over. He's out of the boat. He's done it again. There'll be a red flag to this one. I've seen him. They'll probably wave and smile at him as they go round the corner. But Kerwood, oh, you struggle and bang. It's all gone pear-shaped. He's gone swimming. And the boat is perfectly fine upright. Yeah, well, exactly right, Jono. If he actually doesn't want to finish a race, he should just tell us and we'll save everybody the trouble of swimming. It was a nice slow roll over everyone. The boat was going left and Charlie was going right. He's a big, tall lad. You can see him up there floating in the water. He'll be very, very unhappy with himself. That's going to give you a chance to get up to the canteen because we've got a bit of a process. If you end up in the water and you're powerboat racing, we've got a couple of protocols we've got to go through. So you'll see the boys now. They'll put the stretcher out on the crash boat out there, lower it in the water. The divers will get in there. They'll help him back into the boat. And even if you're perfectly fine, it's just something that we do as part of our procedure. But Charlie doesn't like procedure very much. He might just climb in and just be very, very grumpy and angry with himself. So we're going to take a break for about 10 minutes, I suppose, by the time we get racing back on the water. Please get up to the canteen, see the team up there, help the club. There's also some kids getting around with a bucket. We do ask, obviously, entry was by gold coin donation. So please, hey, we're happy with $1. We'd love $2. If you're happy to chuck 10 bucks in, that's even better for the club. Hope you're enjoying yourself, and we'll be back to you very, very shortly.
Turbo, big turbo, twin turbo, bi-turbo? They need power, speed, and To understand turbos, you have to know the basics of how an engine works. Think of an engine like a very large pump. It sucks air and fuel into a cylinder, compresses and combusts it before pumping out all the goodies that people like to get angry about. To get more power from an engine, we need to burn more fuel more quickly. Getting fuel is usually as simple as turning the tap up, but unless there's also more air, that extra fuel is useless. A cylinder is limited in how much air it can breathe by its size, or displacement. Historically, when engine makers wanted more air to mix with their fuel, they needed a bigger cylinder. There was no replacement for displacement. This made engines larger, heavier, and oftentimes slower to rev. And then, in 1905, a Swiss engineer named Alfred Vicky came up with a replacement for displacement. When he used the exhaust gases of an engine to power a compressor that then fed denser air into the combustion chamber. More air meant more fuel could burn and get more boom. Turbos were quickly adopted by the aeronautical industry. When you're 20,000 feet up, the air is almost half as dense, and engines would lose as much as half of their power.
400 horsepower at sea level, but moving up to 14,000 feet, it dropped to 265.
A turbo restored air pressure in the engine back to sea level pressure. This is called turbo normalizing. When a turbo is used to exceed that pressure, that's called turbo charging. So how does all this crap work? This is a turbo. As your engine expels exhaust gases, they enter in here. The exhaust air gets piped over this turbine. Spins it like a pinwheel. Now we're done with the exhaust and it gets shot out the back of your car. The turbine is connected to this impeller on the other side of the turbo, and it spins too. As it spins, it sucks in a ton of air through this inlet and shoots it out this outlet into your intake manifold. The air is now more dense, so it has more oxygen, so it can burn more gas more quickly, giving you more power. To keep that charged air from going back into the turbo, when you lift off the throttle, a blow-off valve relieves the pressure, letting the air go back into the atmosphere. That's why you get that cool...
Of course you have. You're running nitro, we know it.
I like V8s.
Turbocharging creates a lot of heat. The turbine side constantly has blazing exhaust gases passing through it, making it literally burn red hot. You may have noticed that this side, which is appropriately referred to as the hot side of a turbo, often looks rusty. That's because the extreme heat acts as a catalyst, causing the metal to oxidize more quickly. This side also generates heat. When you compress air, you push the molecules closer together and create friction when they all rub up against each other. All these hot, energized molecules, they move around everywhere, and then they increase the speed of the air, and that makes them lose density. The whole point of forced induction is to get denser air, right? Well, if we cool all of this hot, turbocharged air off, the molecules will cool down, sit closer together, and become even more dense. There are a few ways to do this. The most popular and simple way is with an intercooler. An intercooler sits between the turbo and the engine. The air passes through channels with cooling fins. The cool air from outside passes over the fins, absorbs the heat, and reduces the temperature. And if your Subaru's got a hole in the hood, don't worry. That's for your intercooler. So now we know that a turbocharger is an air compressor. So if you want more power, why not just get the biggest turbo you can find? Well, it's not that easy. If a turbo is too big, it takes a long time for the exhaust to get it spinning fast enough to compress the air. The time between hitting the gas and feeling the boost is called lag. Engineers solved this problem by using two smaller turbos to push more air than one large one. While we think of twin turbos as their own category, there's actually multiple ways to put two turbochargers on an engine. Parallel turbocharging, sequential turbocharging, and to a lesser extent, two-stage turbocharging. The first commercially available twin-turbo car to put these ideas to the test was the Maserati bi-turbo, sold in 1981. This first production attempt at twin turbocharging used the simplest method of applying two turbos to an engine: parallel turbocharging. As long as there's enough space in the engine bay, using two turbos is actually easier than one when an engine has two banks of cylinders, such as a V-shaped engine. Each bank can have its own turbo, rather than routing all of the cylinders into a single one. Achieving the proper power balance between the two banks proved to be a challenge. In early twin-turbo cars like the Nissan 300ZX and Mitsubishi 3000 GT, designers found that the easiest way to get it right was to have each turbo feed the opposite cylinder bank instead of the one it was closest to. This formed a healthy feedback loop that automatically balanced the power between the two banks. Crossing the V solved one problem, but it created another one. The turbos would spool quickly, but now the charged air had to travel further before it reached the engine, creating a new kind of lag. Dang! Just when you think you got it! If only there was a way to have the quick spool time of a small turbo, the power of a big one, and get that air to the dang engine toot sweet. Yes?
What about sequential turbochargers?
Sequential turbos! Thanks, James! I'll see you tomorrow at work? Why not? While parallel turbocharging uses two equally sized turbos working 100% of the time, sequential systems use a little turbo that spools up quickly to tide you over until another, larger turbo has time to spool up. This method alleviates turbo lag and provides a much smoother power band. To control the flow of exhaust to the correct turbo at the right rev range, a series of bypass valves opens and closes at just the right moment, ensuring the proper turbo is getting spooled at the proper time. Both the Mark IV Supra and FD-RX-7 use sequential twin turbo systems. Those cars ruled the 90s. Just like me, dude. Turbocharging is the perfect example of performance technology trickling down to the rest of the market. The 80s and 90s paved the way for modern turbocharging, and now almost anything can come with a turbo. And that means sometimes normal drivers can have a little fun when they want to. Do you like videos about air and gas? Check out this other episode on combustion. Or check out Pumphrey's new car show where he drives the Mazda sparkless petrol engine prototype. Hit that subscribe button. The more subscribers we get, the more cool stuff we get to do. Tell your teachers that if they show this in the classroom, I'll give them extra credit. Don't tell my wife I work here. Turbo, big turbo, twin turbo, bi-turbo? They need power, speed, and to understand turbos, you have to know the basics of how it
On 2. Hey, we're back on air. Hey, sorry, we promised you lots of powerboat action. We didn't actually plan on so many people going swimming. But that's all right. Just had a quick chat with Charlie Kerwood. He's fine. He didn't even lose his sunglasses this time round. So good news for big Charlie in the 43. So the boat with... all good. Never want to see anyone go swimming. Bit of a chat too to Stevie Rumble in Cut Cat Racing down there. So yeah, as expected, he actually took a big hit down here in the lead out of turn 2. Elbow went down and actually hit the kill switch lanyard. And so yeah, shut the engine down. So he had to put the kill switch back in, fire up and went again. So there are a few things happening out there on the field. Bit of the Illusion Boys, Moonlight Racing, they're actually dropped a whole lot of oil. 15 seconds to go. And have a look at this. So hey, here we go. We've got the machine out here and she's going to nail this start. I'm just standing here right next to the clock. 5, 4, 3, 2, bang! Perfect start from the machine and open the photo. She says, see you later, boys. This is how you do it. This is her first ever boat race. How did she do that? She must be cheating. I have to check out for radio communication. Where's Dave Richard Mees? They've got signs here or something. I don't know. Unbelievable. Let's have a look at up through turn at number 1 now. So Jess is out wide. She's a mile wide, giving them plenty of room. The inside, Benici goes through first. So good run. Liam Sutherland, Benici and Excalibur now. The big yellow machine, but Liam Sutherland sticking tight. He's got an inside run. And out the back is the big man, Sumo. If he gets a chance to come over and chop the nose off his boy, he's going to do it. But I tell you what, Liam's got some boat speed. He's got a fully sick Subaru wagon now, so he's going fast everywhere he goes. But out the front, little Benici, have a look at him. He's hunched over the front of that boat, trying to get the weight down. Big shout out to Richard Meads from the and got the APBA 13 rig rolling. Turns out it was a flux capacitor that they'd installed. Excalibur now, a little bit loose through the corner. Hang on to it, Sunshine. Don't bin it when you're leading. Right now, he's got a hunch forward over the wheel. He's got the word from Pete, the Maltese Falcon Senior. Get over the wheel, mate. Kick the nose down. Working the wheel hard. Have a look at the hands on Liam. Just settling the boat down. He's going to make the round up in the air and shoot. Mate, it's worth half a mile an hour, definitely. There's water everywhere at the back of Sumo. Usain Boat's got a hole in it. Usain Boat has a hole in it, I'm guessing, from where I see. It's throwing water everywhere. Big bad Barry. So he has. The hands going up. Oh, here we go. Sumo's going to sink in front of his dad, and his son's out in front of him. It doesn't get any worse. Here comes the machine. Big J-Dogs. Just pedaling beautifully. She's just picked up a spot. And will he stand up and salute? And tell you what, the guy in the rescue boat actually owns that boat. That's going to be a conversation he doesn't want to have. There you go. Usain Boat, last time Zach Murphy binned it here, and this time around it looks like Sumo's punched the bum out of it. 110 kilos of man-meat will do that. But to the front of the field, have a look at him. Oh, big moment there for Excalibur. Do not hit that turn, boy, son. You're bleeding. He's got it under control now. Little Benici up the front straight away. Have a look over your shoulder, mate. You've got a mile. This is handicap racing. Ease up on it and don't let the judges see. Looking good now, Excalibur. Liam Sutherland, he's going to drive past his old man who's bailing furiously out there. Mum and Dad here on the beach laughing their heads off. Now, Barry Sutherland has stacked a few boats in his time, but I don't know if he's ever sunk one just doing nothing wrong. Just beautiful down the back of the A13, the red and white machine. All right, so we're going to have a yellow flag. Mark Sutherland, but he's doing all he can to stop that boat from sinking. He's got the rescue crew next to him. So we make sure, can we get the trailer for Usain Boat down to the boat ramp straight away, please? The trailer for Usain Boat, because there's going to be an issue there. Just look to the tower. I'm not sure, I've lost lap count. I was all too excited and laughing at Mark sinking. Right, up at the front of the field now. We've got Jess, and she's doing a beautiful job pedaling this boat. First ever race, had her first run in the boat yesterday, and doing it very nicely. Oh, Benici, mate, slow up a bit, son. You're giving me a heart attack. J-Dogs, does she look to the tower? Nah, she's just going for it. Yellow flag flies now. One more to go for the young Maltese Falcon in Excalibur. Emily Rudd up at Denny. Sam Lucas, the boat owner, he's probably doing a boot scoop right now to some Lee Kernigan. And the boat getting points for the series. Liam Sutherland Doing a beautiful job. He want the conditions a bit rougher for the Black Bull. But I tell you what, doing it very, very nicely, and he's driven past his old man again. And things have calmed down a little bit out there. You can see the rescue crews are just hanging on. I'd probably get marked out a bit if I was you. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Is Sammy Lucas watching the live feed, Scotty? He might be. He is. He's got a thumbs up from Scotty Lambert. So Sam Lucas, big shout out to you, mate. Hope you're all right. Heard you got in a bit of a barney with a heavily tattooed woman last night. All right, one more corner. Can the Benici kid hold it together? A little bit more sensible there now. You can see the rooster tail is feathering the throttle. One more turn, boy, to not hit. Drifts it around very nicely. Checkered flag's going to fly. This is this kid's first race in this new boat. Give it a round of applause. The Maltese Falcon in the Excalibur. Woo-wee, hot dog. And for a red hot second place in the first scratch race, it is Mr. Liam Sutherland as he drives past. Watch him wave to the old man. Yeah, have a look at the helmet turn. How you going, Dad? First win in a 25. He's going swimming. And at the rear of the field, but by no means least, her first finish at a podium position for the machine. A podium finish, about a 5. She's got onto the third spot of the podium. Woo-wee, great drive. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. All right, so Sumo Sutherland, he pushes off from the rescue boat. He's got wings. Don't worry, boys, I'll take it home. Actually got the call up to drive this boat this morning. It was asked and he said, oh yeah, any chance to beat Liam? And look what's happened. These two are father and son team. Liam's, they're both actually quite accomplished ski. So Liam doing ski. Also been competing in the offshore in the family boat, the Big Force, called Giggling Racing. And mate, he'll be very unhappy. And he'll have a very wet helmet too. Boat owner Aaron Hill in VOC Rescue 2 just following his baby back to the beach to make sure it's there in, or what's left of it. Yeah, well, judging by that, the hole must be quite a long way forward because it doesn't look like it's getting any worse. So anyway, we'll have a quick look. Bit of race tape, get it back on there, get it back out. So put your hands together for it, ladies and gentlemen. Wave your hats and flags. And welcome back to the beach, Mr. Luca Benici. The Maltese Falcon takes the win for the Maltese Falcon Racing team. And Big Liam Sutherland brings it home as well. All right, so we'll get into a bit of a routine here now. We're about to see the big screaming inboards go out again. This is a mixed category as well, I think. All right, so just going to let Moonshine Racing go out and do a quick circle lap. You saw them blowing a fair bit of smoke in the last race. Spoke to the boys there. They actually were blowing oil out of the catch can onto the engine, and they were getting a fair bit of smoke. So they think they've got it sorted. Just going to let them have a quick lap, and if they're good to go, they'll line up. If not, they'll come back to the bank and get back to work. One of the other things you'll notice, if you have a look over here at the Wasp Racing with the big GP Hydro, they pretty much have, there's a checklist of a whole lot of stuff between races of these blown alcohol boats. You've got a lot of work to do, big crew. You see at least 5 people up there working on that boat right now. Big shout out to Crash Boat Gary, who's joined us down here, one of the most accomplished crash boat operators in the history of our sport. He's pretty handy behind the wheel as race boat Gary. Just having an eyeball now. Oh, you know, another matter, Maxie Stevens. You've eaten too many pies, Max. Can't get the boat off the trailer. All right, it's time for the big boy outboards to get out there and go for a play. They're always different boats, or all different types of boats. We saw the inboards out there, what we call displacement boats. The outboard's very different. So this is actually an open category for the outboard. So we've got a combination. We've got 1.8 litre engines. Out there, we've also got some 2 litre stuff as well. So 5 boats in this category. I mentioned it before, my son Zach Murphy, who crashed the boat here last time, is out there in a boat owned by Simon Tees. Big shout out to Simon Tees if you're watching the live stream. The boat's called Il Bastardo, and it's not an easy thing to drive. But the first boat out there doing it up, that's Mr. Simon Kerwood in the 42. We just watched his son Charlie go for a swim. But this beautiful big Allison looking the goods. The second boat out there, that's my boy Zach, the Spin King Murphy in Il Bastardo. Little 15-foot bullet running the 115 E-Tech. Even root engine. Loves the flat water, a little bit of a handful rough. And we've got a couple of brand new boat out the back, the little red bullet. First race for this man ever in the circuit race out there in the bullet, so bit of pressure on him. Racing in a 2 litre category, so he's opted for the outside pole. I'm going to stay nice and wide to give the other racers plenty of room. And that throaty scream you can hear in the back chute right now, that is none other than Mr. Scotty Rouse in the Cheyenne. Richie Hannon brings us onto the front straight. This boat is called Rebound. It's one of the most winningest boats in this category in Victoria, and that man has won plenty. Richie stepping back into the driver's seat for the first time in several years. One of the owners of the boat, along with David Bishop and Kim Ball, the Rebound machine. I've actually had the opportunity to drive this boat myself in the Victorian Championship Series, and yeah, it's one hell of a machine. It's the same boat as the Cheyenne, the Dancraft hull, but 2 very different engines. And right now, conditions are absolutely perfect for these little monos. These boats are going to be pulling around 80 miles an hour. And you can see with the trim of these boats, the less boat in the water up to a point, the faster you go. And here we've got them. We'll wait for the pole positions now, but by the look of it, Zach Murphy sitting on the inside pole in Il Bastardo. I tell you what, that'd be nice for him if he's got that inside run. Okay, white flag and clock has started, ladies and gents. Now, this is critical. Got to hit the line, flyer. We saw Jess, Mad Dog, the novice, absolutely nail it and set the benchmark within a second of the clock on her first race. Sure will. So you see the field assembling. Different techniques. Some drivers like to be a little bit closer. Some like to sit further away. Now, 30 seconds, coming up on 30 seconds about now. So it looks like we're going to have Murphy out of pole 1 in Il Bastardo. Pole 2, wait to pick it up. It might be the Cheyenne of Scotty Rouse. The orange and white machine, the black and red is Rebound. The white and the black hull, the big Allison, is 42. 15 seconds to go. They're going to start getting them on the plane. Have a look at them. These are pretty experienced. 10 seconds now. All right, so in 5, have a look at Rouse. He's got a decent run. But I tell you what, in 2, 1, go is the call. Murphy's got the jump on him. Richie Hannon, there's nothing in the boat spot between those front 4. Have a look at him now. This is a big pressure corner for Murphy. The young kid just turned 18. Gets it around nicely, but look at Cheyenne, that mid-corner. Murphy hooks it in. Oh, he's blown his advantage. Gets it back under control, but he's given it up. And Scotty Rouse into the back straight for the first time. Didn't see him last year, had his knee reconstructed. And have a look at the Cheyenne go. Richie Hannon moves up in a second spot now. And just to his outside shoulder, it's Simon Kerwood in the big 42 missile. Rousey now running the quick foot left-hand rotation, loves the corner. Oh, big hit in the middle from Rousey. Loses a bit of boat speed now. Murphy struggling to get Il Bastardo back under control. And Chile doing a beautiful job first time around. Rossi for lap number 1. Oh, Richie Hannon, mate, he's forgotten nothing. The master at the wheel. Look at the hands working the wheel to just balance that boat there. There comes Corwood in the 42. Murphy after that half hook into turn 1 under huge pressure from Scotty Rouse. That was good racecraft from Rousey to hold him tight. Went in a little bit hot. Getting a bit loose now in the back chute. Put the nose down, son. And there comes Chile working hard on the wheel. You can see the boat going left to right. That's what we call chine walking. The propeller making the boat dance left and right. Very nice turns from all 3 of these. But Rousey has got the bit between his teeth in Cheyenne. Richie Hannon obviously coming from an outside pole. He's got a further distance of travel, so there's not a lot in it right now between these two. Beautiful back section of the corner. Oh, Richie Hannon hooks it in. There we go. Hannon's facing the wrong way. Doesn't miss the turn well. He'll be dirty on himself for that. Let's Corwood come around and back on the gas. Scotty Rouse goes, thank you very much. And Murphy now, he gets a chance to close the gap up a little bit. And the little wide Bastardo, but Corwood moves into second spot. Put the mocker on Hannon, but he's grabbed it up and he's got the bit between his teeth, running an inside line to Corwood now. He'll hold the rebound tight. And the little red bullet, the Chili, not Chili Pepper now, working a little bit harder down the back chute in the crosswash of these boats. Have a look at the battle between Hannon to the inside and Corwood to the outside. The longer, bigger engine on the white boat with the black deck. Giving him the speed in the run, but Hannon is actually cornering this thing on a dime. Yellow flag, one more lap for Scott Rouse out in front. That beautiful work, OMC screaming the big Jono. Hannon's up the inside of Corwood. He looks good through the mid-corner. Corwood holds him tight. That's racing. Plenty of room given there. Just enough to put the pressure on him. Drag race with 1 more to go. There's nothing in it. And Murphy got it back under control. He'll be dirty on himself for that one. In turn number 1. Have a look at El Bastardo. She's leaping out of the water. He's got the foot jammed to the floor. But Rouse has got this one in the bag. Touch wood, barring incident. But the battle is not over for second and third spot. Hannon like a missile out of the mid-corner there. Simon Corwood gets a few big bumps. Drops a bit of boat speed there, so that gives Hannon an opportunity. The gap closes. The gap is closing now. Hannon, he's got this boat absolutely. Ben Scotty Rouse, put your hands together for the man in Cheyenne. Out of pole 3 for race number 1 with the win. Looks over his shoulder and he's got it done. Thumbs up to the tower. Have a look at this, ladies and gents. Hannon to the inside, Corwood to the outside. Nothing in it. Simon Corwood takes the tin off Richie Hannon after that hook in the second turn, lap number 2. I'll tell you what, tough gig there. And Zach Murphy in the Il Bastardo did a great job. Well done, Sunshine. Second ever time out there in that boat. Hasn't driven it for a year, so he's done pretty well. He's going to bin it on the start and the finish line. But yeah, he'll be dirty on himself for hooking into that turn number 1. Gave away the advantage that he had. And our brand new campaigner, first time in a circuit race in the beautiful little 1650 bullet. Andrew Chili in the red hot Chili Pepper. Give him a wave, ladies and gents. Put your hands together. A couple of boats hooking on. You can see Richie Hannon, the hands on the helmet. He's really disappointed in himself. Don't be too hard on yourself, big fella. This is race 1 of a very, very long series. So we might get a minute over here on the microphone with Big Jess, J-Dogs. Jack, where are you going? I was going to interview you. You've run away. Okay, she's nervous. Where racing important. As is the nervous and breaks in between time. All right, so just letting Moonshine have that quick run to make sure they've got their engine gremlin sorted. And then we're going to go racing again in the 105 mile an hour category. All right, so a little bit of gesticulating wildly up the tower. So what was supposed to happen is one boat was supposed to go out and do a bit of a test run, come back in, and then we were going to start the race. But like all races, when they saw one go, they said, well, I'm going two. So it looks like we're going to start the race anyway. Okay, so this is going to be the 105 category, ladies and gentlemen. So speed limited at 105 miles per hour. For all you young people, that's about 160 kilometres per hour maximum speed. Okay, so start boat flying the white flag's going to pick him up this time around, ladies and gents. Count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the field. Okay, so So a bit of smoke and a bit of whiz-bang happening action over the back there. I think that might be Pete McDonald in Old Horny out the back there. So it looks like a little hydro to me, a bit hard to pick up. But anyway, the fire crews have gone over just to make sure the signal from the driver is to stand up and start waving wildly. Yeah, it looks as though we've just had probably something like an oil cooler line pop off and the hot extractors, but yes, I think that's Peter McDonald in Old Horny at the back there, the black hydro. 79 years of age is Pete out there. He was going absolutely on fire this morning. I shouldn't say that, on fire. Wrong choice of words. He was driving really well this morning. But fingers crossed it's not a major, and they've just split an oil line and thrown a bit of oil around. So word from the rescue crews, there is no fire on board the boat, so it is just an oil, smoke and haze. So we'll get this crew back together, reform and pick them up on the start boat as soon as we get our rescue crews back in order. And then we are going to get this show on the road.
What was that, Darren? I said you got to get the human tripod down here.
Right, so take Peter Mack back into the middle of the course. Start boat's going to come through, pick up our teams. So 105 mile an hour class. Like to look at a couple of these boats out here, but that man floating around out there in the white one, just in front of the tower. Maxie Stevens in another Madam. He's well, I'm not betting the farm on it, but I reckon he's going to be right at the pointy end of this one for sure. Big shout out to my mate Adam, who's just arrived down there, buddy. Didn't see you last night in my new stretcher and swag. Couldn't have run over me if you tried. Caught up with Razor Ray Lindray before. The new baby, unfortunately, has expired, not terminal, but dropped the maybe damaged piston. So, unfortunately, we're not going to see the new rev limit out there for the rest of today. Obviously, this is Club Day, race number 1, so you want things to happen now. The boys are having a quick look under the rocker cover as we speak. What a perfect day for powerboat racing. Conditions absolutely beautiful out there. Yeah. It's looking pretty good for a 79-year-old. The old Pete McDonald just casually laying over the back of the little hydro. Yeah, the boat's called Old Horny. It's like, I don't know, Sports Illustrated 1976. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Don't forget, we've got a huge range of food and cold drinks up there at the cafe of the Glenmaggie District Boat Club. Public toilets are located just behind you if you're sitting there at the back. Hope you're enjoying yourself. And if you're not here with us and you're tuned in to Big Scotty Lambert's live stream feed, that it's everything you expected and more. rescue team's working pretty hard today, round one. So big thanks to the Victorian Outboard Club out there in the Lindsay J. All right, so about to go up on the start flag. So there you go, the rumble of V8 engines cuts across the beautiful Lake Glen Maggie. And the 105 class is about to go out there and get very, very serious. That man right there in front of us right now, another madam, Maxie Stevens. Nate Stevens, he's going to follow. So Russell Jones out there. He used to get a boat called Stampede running the 5-litre hydroplane. Into turn number one, Rob King on the inside of Viking. Held tight by Madam, a little bit of a hook and a shuffle, but there you go. Kingy got the better of that one. And Rob King up the inside. Maxie Stevens, another Madam. Oh, very nice. It's holding tight there, Kingy and Lard. Got to keep him honest. The lane's been left there clear. Kingy says, thank you very much. I'll take it. Oh, a bit of a leap from both of the mates there. Stevie Rumble. Jim Martin's an insanity. They made some changes to that boat from race one. It looks very nice right now. The batter at the front of the field. Having a great battle back there. Oh, they're going to stop it. Maxie Stevens is out. Another madam, the hand goes up in the air. There we go. So thank you very much. Rob King will take that. Checkered flag for Robbie King and the Viking checkered flag And Kingy takes the win. Stephen Rumble in the cat with a second place. Look at Big John. He's nearly spat himself out of it. The boat is called Insanity, and you can now tell why. He was giving it everything in that last straight. The hot cookie, the 5-litre hydroplane. Russell Jones at the wheel brings it home. And Rick Duddington, she's the boss. I'm much happy about that time around. So great to see those guys working it up. Didn't realise that Louise had that much power, but she's just whistled and Dean Gleeson has ran. Right, so that was 105 mile per hour class. So the outboards running the clock start series with a handicap. The inboards running reverse grid in race number 2. So you take the win in race number 1, you start outside pole in race number 2. And then the third race of the day is the big decider. All right, just about to get out of the water is the 85 mile an hour category. And out of pole 1, one of the nicest men in powerboat racing, Mr. Bobby Reid in the Freedom Machine. This boat is actually a 4.2 metre. And this man has won this category more times than I've had pies. Unbelievable competitor. The boat is amazing, and a little 4.2. So the old Holden 253 is the engine for Bob's boat. But 85 miles, he's got his work cut out for him. Out of pole 2 is Mr. Simon Kerwood in the 42, the single outboard competing in this category. Pole 3, playing again. A 1.6 litre hydroplane. Pole 4 is Rat Attack. Pole 5, Old Horny. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing him back. Well, I don't think so. And Moonshine running out of pole 6 on the provisionals. Drivers, don't forget, we need your Jeep motorway. Big shout out to Jim Mullen sitting aside the Saturday showboat on the finish line, mate, if you can hear me. Very, very nicely done. I like the finish line jump out, but hey, Maxie Stevens, unfortunately, in a commanding position in that race in another madam. Something went wrong, hand went up in the air, had to shut the big girl down.
Trading since 1973, family-owned dealership Melton Toyota is built on a foundation rich in community spirit. As Toyota Australia's #1 metro dealer for guest experience, our award-winning service provides customers an experience to remember. Locals serving locals. We offer best deals on an extensive range of new, premium used and Toyota certified used cars. Benefit from our express service facility, 4-wheel drive specialists, waiting lounge and courtesy transport. Capture the feeling at Melton Toyota, High Street, Melton.
Right, so we go racing in the 85 mile an hour category. Pole 1, Bobby Reid in Freedom. Pole 2, 42, Simon Madman Kirkwood. Pole 3, playing again, a little 1.6 litre hydroplane out there. Rat Attacks racing out of 4. Old Horny is a withdrawal. And Moonshine out racer. Right, so warm up for these guys in the 85 mile per hour category. Okay, Bob Reid. Bobby Reid out there coming around the top left-hand corner now. The white boat, the 4.2, the Holden 253 power plant. One of the biggest classes in the history of the sport in Australia for a long time. Alright, so let's have a look at this lineup out there, ladies and gents. Start both to the inside, just to his right outside. Bobby Reid in Freedom, Simon Kerwood. Playing again, Rat Attacks out there. 2 4.2s in the Rat Attack, the red boat. Flag goes down, here we go. Bobby Reid, nice start from Rat Attack into the outside, Moonshine. Look at Bobby, Rat Attack's got a trailer. He's slowing. Bobby Reid there, Freedom gets a break. Now Simon Kerwood in the outboard, he's going to have to watch to his outside. Rat Attack gets going again, so a little bit of fuel surge potentially there. Here we go, Bobby Reid, he will not make a mistake, guaranteed, away he goes. And he's through, very nice run now. This is our Norris, Moonshine, his first race. There's Rat Attack now, he's going to miss out, Simon Kerwood, up the inside, going again. But all through lap number 1, Bobby Reid. Conditions pretty bumpy out there for these little displacement boats. They take some big hits. Bobby Reid's about 800 years old, but it does not stop him from winning these things. 85 mile an hour category. Moonshine's got to have a move here. I'm going to have to check the GPS on that one, but have a look at him right up on his shoulder. Bobby Reid says, no, thank you very much. You're not going to take it that easy, kiddo. I'm going to make you work for it. Into the bottom turn again. Some big bumps in the middle of that corner now. Simon Kerwood getting blown back a little bit by these inboards. The little 1.6 hydro. This is Rat Attack now across the line. Couple of laps down. Very hard on the wheel. Have a look at the race at the front of the field. Bob right to the inside. The Moonshine Boys to the outside. This is 85-mile-an-hour class racing at its best. Elbow to elbow. Make one mistake and you're going to get blown out the back door. Mike Godsall driving. Oh, Mike, he's at a half hook there. He's just tripped the nose on the shoulder, grabbed it back. That'll give Bobby the advantage. Yellow flag this time around. Elbow to elbow. To the inside, Moonshine, Mike Godsall to the outside. Rod Williams and Rat Attack just a little break down there. Gee, this is a good race out in front. Mike Godsall in Moonshine to the outside. Bob Reed and Freedom to the inside. The checkered flag is flying. Mike runs a wider line, gets on the straight. Who can get the power down here? 85-mile-an-hour maximum speed. It's going in Moonshine. GPS say, ladies and gentlemen. Will they both break out? That can happen. And here's Rat Attack, Rod Williams. Now, will we see a breakout in those first two? That looked like a very fast 85 mile. And Rod Williams brings it home. Bit of smoke down on the water there. I think that's out of Rat Attack. And playing again, the man from the VSBC. Simon Kerwood brings home the 42, unlike Charlie Kerwood, who went for a swim for his second race. For a finish in the category. That's much deeper. Well, put your hands together for them, ladies and gentlemen. That was some great racing from the 5-mile-an-hour category. All right, well, that is the first of our runs through our categories for today. We're going to go back and start it all over again. Next up is the Formula Future. Yeah, but you'll have another after that, so you'll have 3 today. Yeah. Yeah. So, you well? How was it? Okay, so here we go with the Formula Future. This is the first of our handicap races for Formula Future, so watch out, ladies and gents. It's going to be on. Let's have a look at the clock here. All right, so the person off 0 on the clock is Lily Taranto, chasing a little cash. She's off 0. 10 seconds behind her will be Taylor Jackson off Race Marine. Flammable is off 15. Off 30 seconds is Hijacked. And 40 seconds off 0, Tyler Gilligan in the Epic. So, as I said, first race sets the pole times. Now they've got to work on the handicap. By the end of the day, we should see all these boats crossing the line. So, I tell you what, the wind's picked up a little bit as well. So, some of these kids will have to watch it. All right, so they're down in the milling area. We should see a white flag any second now, and the clock will start. So the first boat we're looking for, the little black boat, Lily Taranto. We ready? Right, clock starts, white flags up. So Lily Taranto, the little black boat, a little bit of cash, or chasing a little bit of cash. I can't remember what it's called. It's a very long name. I will get it nailed by the end of the day. So clock's ticking over. So we should see Lily arrive at 0. Lily's off 0, and then we will have up behind her, all going well, Race Marine, Taylor Jackson off 10 seconds. 5 seconds behind her off 15, Flammable. Then at 30 is Hijacked, and 40 is Tyler Gilligan in the Epic. All right, 30 seconds has elapsed. A lot of pressure on these young drivers. Lily Taranto, first race weekend for her. She probably needs to get her foot down right now and get this boat moving. 15, she definitely needs to be gone. Really hard when you're the pole sitter and it's your first handicap race. 10, 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Right, so Lily Taranto should have crossed the line right now, but she's going to be nice and safe, and she definitely will not break out. So out of 10 seconds, I think it was. Let's go back over here and have a quick look at the board. Yeah, 10 seconds, Race Marine. What are we up to? So 10 seconds. 15, so she's cost herself probably an additional 10. Giving it up. Next boat away should be Flammable off 15 seconds. She should already be gone, so running very late. 30 seconds are Hijacked and 40 for Epic. Now, Tyler Gilligan gets this right. 40 seconds gone. That's 30 seconds. Not a bad effort from Little Meadsy. He's done all right, and Tyler Gilligan has probably cost himself a little bit of time here. 40, no, he's good, so maybe 4 or 5 seconds. Pretty good run. Right, now down the back, let's have a look. So you can see, losing that advantage off the start, you can see Lily Taranto has now lost a spot out in front to the Race Marine driver. Taylor Jackson went mental blank there for a moment. Steve Scott always here to help me out with the 28 kids. All right, Taylor. So Taylor Jackson now. Now these boats will all start to close up. Flammable now, starting to pick up a little bit of pace on Taranto. Now have a look at Gilligan. He's trying to run an inside line. He's lightning fast for that mid-corner. He needs to settle down these corners. And there's a bit of a drag race in the back chute now. So every lap, these boats will close down. There goes Flammable now. So she's through. Now, this is one of the best things about handicap racing. They have to overtake and have to plan. Stuffs it up the inside. Looks to the outside. Oh, unlucky on the outside for Meadsy. He got caught a little bit wide there. He's done the right thing, followed the rules of racing, but unfortunately has been pushed a little bit wide and cost himself a bit of ground. Tyler Gilligan now picking up another spot. Terrible, doing it beautifully in the Flammable. But I tell you what, out in front, Miss Jackson, Taylor Jackson in Race Marine. We should be on a yellow, I don't know, I'm just a commentator. Not sure, we've got 60 million laps to run here. We're still on a green flag, so we're going around a couple more. But Taylor Jackson in Race Marine looking good now. Tyler Gilligan in the Epic. He's done away with everybody else. Boat number 24, white and yellow, and he's got out the front. Now Taylor blows a little bit wide. Tyler backs the pace off. You can see, oh, nearly hooked it in there, mate. Went in a bit hard and a bit hot. Terrible and Flammable. She's gaining ground on the leaders here. There goes Little Meadsy in Hijacked. driving it very, very nicely. Here comes Lily Taranto in a little bit of cash. This time round, we'll surely see the yellow flag. Here's the word from the tower. The yellow flag is going to be shown. It's going to be on at the far. Oh, Tyler Gilligan, watch that turn, boy, son. He's loose. He's in the crosswash. Needs to pick a clean line. Moves to the outside. So holding inside pole. You don't want to give that up. Is Taylor Jackson in Race Marine, daughter of a Hall of Fame, granddaughter of a Hall of Famer in Bobby Jackson. You can see her. She lost a lot of speed there when the boat took flight. But don't panic. You've got the inside run. You'll see it come to her advantage here. Very nice corner from Tyler Gilligan. Cannot take that one away from him. He feathered the boat beautifully. They're drag racing down the back. Now he's going to have to give her a lane. That boat is a little bit quicker. Race Marine in the downwind leg. So it's on at the front. Beautiful driving here from Tara Inflammable. This is her new baby. Second race in it. Very nicely through from Little Meads as well in Hijacked. Lily Taranto doing a wonderful job, but this is going to be the checkered flag. Trying to pick up who that is. It is Tyler Gilligan. Into the epic, ladies and gentlemen. Takes the win from 40 seconds back. Wowee. That is a fair drive. Now that said, each of those people in front of him cost themselves at least 10 seconds on their clock. So if they get that right, that would be a very, very different outcome for Tyler Gilligan. But very nice drive from Tyler Jacko in Race Marine. Here comes Flammable. It's Tara Bull doing it very, very nicely in the new baby. And Hijacked. Little Jack, mate. Just having to work very, very hard in the little wing boat there to make sure it doesn't take flight and spit him out. So there you go. That's the second race for the Formula Future Group 1 of the day. Those times will be amended for race number 3 when they come out a little bit later on. Okay, so we've got one more race and then we're going to take a short break to bring our crews in and give them some much needed food and water. So we're going to have a little bit of a break, and straight after that break we're going to come back with the Unlimiteds running again. So one more heat of juniors, then we're going to take a short break, then we're going to see the big bangers out there, the Fly Rival, Helium and the Wasp. But heat number 2, now we've got to do a driver change on this one from memory. We've got to have the black flag out for them. Poor kids, no wonder they went around and just following the rules. So if you're wondering why the drivers are doing a full lap now on the way back on the cool down lap, it's actually one of the rules that we have here in Victoria, that you're never to cross the course. It's obviously for protection of the boat crews on the water. Might seem a trivial thing when you've got 15 horsepowers out there, but you don't want to see a blown alcohol displacement boat crossing the course on the way back to the ramp. All right, so heat number 2 of the Formula Futures, and this is going to be a belter because we've got 3 boats off zero. 3 boats off zero. We've got, who have we got? She's Addicted. Summer Jackson running off zero on the clock. We saw her this morning. She was bang on time, so she'll be one to see. In the Voodoo is, just trying to work that out, we've got Jacko Seacombe racing in the new blue boat, and in the Voodoo is his brother in Max. So Max Seacombe and Jacko Seacombe out in that heat there. A little Hostile Bull after the big race win is going to run off 15 seconds. Hell Yeah running off 20 seconds. So 5 seconds difference between a little Hostile Bull and Hell Yeah. Beg your pardon, we've got Max off zero, Summer off zero, and Jackson is off 10 seconds. So 0, 10, 15 and 20. Very, very tight start. These guys will need to get the clock right. Blue flag to send them out. Blue flag to send them out. So blue flag will get these guys out of the water. Good luck. Oh, look at the concentration there and a little Hostile. Summer Johnson. Always smiling underneath that visor. Yeah, flag, mate. So Summer Johnson says, thanks very much, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go and take my spot out there at the start grid. There goes Amber Ball after the big race win. In a little Hostile Bull. At the back it's the Bonici, the young one. One of the fabulous Bonici brothers. in Hell Yeah. Just about spat himself out of that thing earlier on in the day. That's 1, 2, 3. Who are we looking for? We've got the driver change in Race Marine. So that's Max second. Jacko second going out there now in the blue machine. And looking for our last starter in Race Marine. Big Stewie Jackson working very hard in the JST racing team down there. Jackson second, Taranto. The Race Marine revs up. These little wind race pops are $600 worth of racing propeller on these engines, but apart from that, the engine itself is completely unmodified. So stock standard 15 horsepower. Doesn't have to be a Mercury, but as you say, they're all running Mercuries here. All right, so they'll get down there, and then we'll go to white flag, clock start. For the next of our Formula Future heats, off zero. Summer Johnson in She's Addicted. Alongside her is Max in a Race Marine. Max second out of Race Marine. Jackson second, coming off 10 seconds, 15 seconds, a little hostile Bull. That is Amber Bull, and Hell Yeah, Mr. Bonici off 20 seconds, the back marker. For this one, I'm not going to pick this one, not even going to try. All right, white flag is about to go. White flag, clock start. No clock yet. Clock. All right, so clock start. Every time they go out there, these kids get better and better at estimating the distance they need to get to the start line off zero. So She's Addicted. Summer Johnson off zero. Alongside her is Max in a Race Marine. Clock's ticking down. So kids starting to approach. 30 seconds down. So yeah, this is, I like the look of this. Got Summer Johnson. She's not too far down. Race Marine just to her inside. Probably needs to pick the boat up on the plane about now. We've got she's doing it pretty well. So 15 seconds, want to get the boat up on the plane and get it rolling. Sometimes these junior boats take a little while to get going. 10 seconds now. Our first two, they've got 5 seconds. They're going to be late, and have a look at what's happening behind them. Bit more experience out of second, so we are on zero now. Bang. So a few seconds wasted by these front leaders, and that closes the handicap gap up. So Maxi takes us out in the Race Marine. Number one, there's Summer Johnson in a She's Addicted. Jacko second in the blue boat. Here comes Amber in the hostile. Little hostile Bull and Bonici. 20 seconds gone, 24. Well, hello, I'm not sure what his handicap time was. I think it was 20 seconds on top of my head. Anyway, they're up and racing. The tower will know better than I do. Fair bit of work to do from the back of this boat. Obviously, Hell Yeah, very, very quick, but also gets a bit flighty in this breeze, and it's stiffened a little bit. Now, out in front, we saw him have that little bit of a moment, and right now he's got clean water in front of him, so that's going to work in his favour in Race Marine. This is Max, second. First race weekend for the young gun, and doing it very nicely right now. You can see these boats starting to take flight, a few big hits. The little Race Marine working hard. The boat's trimmed down nicely, though, so maybe a little bit of a trim adjustment. Summer Johnson having to back off a little bit there now in She's Addicted. And that gives a chance for Jacko second. That boat's sitting nicely to her outside. Now these side rollers, very hard to control as they come through the turn. This field's starting to close up nicely. There's Amber Bull and a little hostile Bull. That boat very, very good in the rough. And there's a move coming down the back. Summer to the inside, Jacko to the outside. They both drop the hammers down in the downwind run. There's not a lot between those two boats. And Bonici has said that wind building not working in his favour at all for the little Maltese Falcon. The laps tick down out in front. I tell you, he's driving beautifully right now. This is Max second in Race Marine, so he just needs to watch his speed through here now. The longer this straight goes, a bit more breeze. He's done it well. You can see him hunched over the wheel there. Put your head down, son. Get your weight forward. It's the only way you can change the attitude of this boat. Jacko second now. Has got some clean water. The boat launching out of the air on those little rollers. Summer Johnson, oh, Jacko's blowing a little bit wide there. Summer will make up a couple of boat lengths. She does, slots it in nicely. Picks up the shorter run to the inside. Amber Bull, a hostile Bull goes around. Right, we will see the yellow flag this time around as the field continues to close. Bonici, oh, the boat just struggling to settle there. losing a bit of drive, but the boat is quick in this back straight. Geez, the handicapper's done a pretty decent job on this. None of these kids have made a mistake as of yet, so the you can see the gap's just closing up lap by lap. Race Marine getting a little bit loose. He needs to just feather the boat out in front, but he's got the sniff of the victory. So very, very much doubt he's going to back off. So you got Max second in front, Jackson second in second. Here comes Amber Bulls in hostile, making a move on Summer Johnson. So very nicely done by her. Summer Johnson doing nothing wrong. First weekend racing. The Maltese Falcon now. He's got to get round to the outside. He's pushed a little bit wider, and he's got to keep it clean. Gee, Summer's driving beautifully for a girl who's racing for the second time ever. Just really clinical on those corners, under pressure for two boats are outside. Doesn't bat an eyelid. There's a race coming between the second boys at the front. What will Mum do? Who's she going to like more? Who's she cheering for? Oh, how do you choose? Race Marine to the inside. It's Max to the inside, Jacko to the outside. They're charging at the line. Here we go. I think it's going to be Maxie. This is going to be his first ever race win. It is, ladies and gentlemen, Race Marine with the win from his brother Jacko second. And look at the battle pack back here. Oh, Summer Johnson gets a wild ride out of that turn. Can Amber Bull in hostile hold off the fast charging Benici? He's ducked down, he looks across. I think it is hostile. Hostile by half a boat length. And Summer Johnson. Wowee, that's some great handicap racing there from those guys. Very, very nicely done by that young man with his race win. I think they're still racing. No, just don't pull them in yet until the boats are... So the boys are... the boys need to make sure they've seen this black flag, because if you do a flying lap after the black flag, you'll get a speaking to from the VP. Steve Scott, big angry hydroplane racer, but he's got a bit of a soft spot for the kids, all 35 of them. No, they've done it beautifully. So put your hands together for him. Go wild, his first ever race win. Woo! Give him a massive wave, and he beat his brother as well. Unbelievable, and his cousin. It's just an unbelievable result out there for him. So we're going to take a quick break, ladies and gents. Make sure you get up to the cafeteria, grab yourself something to eat, grab yourself a cold drink, maybe grab a cold beer as well. The bar is open up the top there. I'm with you, Joe. And we'll be back a little bit later on. It won't be too far away, actually. We're going to go straight back to racing with the unlimited category, the Flylium and the Wasp.